Here is a form of digital editing. This program is called Sony Vegas Pro 13. As you can see from the screen, you can tell there are many buttons, sliders and options to creating your film. The main part of this form of editing is here. This is the timeline. This is where you put your shots together into a sequence to create a film. You can cut, shorten, lengthen, and even cut the audio from clips. The timeline is split into layers, and there are two types of layers. There is visual and there is audio. Both self-explanatory. One houses the visuals of the clip, and the other houses the audio of the clip. These both can be adjusted at the same time, or both can be adjusted in different points of the film. Here I have a clip from the film Fury. A very short clip from it. And now, if I want to make a cut, I want to make the cut precise as possible. So, I would use either the slider, or I can use the arrow that can scroll through each frame by frame, making it easier to adjust where to make the cut. Here I'm going to show you an example of this. Here I've got a clip from the movie Fury. Now I can use the buttons over here to go through each frame at a time, or I can use the slider to go through it. Now I'll be using the frame by frame button as it's a lot easier and you can use a lot more accurate, make more accurate cuts. So if I wanted to, I can make a cut here, press one button, then pass it along. To another sequence. About here, make another cut. I can remove this, discard this section of the clip, delete that, put this together. Let's see what we got.
Hit him! On what? What do you want, Tom?
AP, smash him.
You're clear, boy!
Clearly the cut is obvious and the audio is obviously taken from the film. Now, another way we can do this, we can add music. Here we've got another audio layer which houses some royalty-free music. Now if I can place it under here, I can shorten how much of the clip I want. And then go back to the beginning. I can also increase the volume and decrease this volume. And let's see what we got.
Hit him! On what? What do you want, Tom?
AP, smash him.
You're clear, boy!
With the use of editing, you can see that we've changed a more serious and more action-filled scene into a more of a goofy parody sort of esque clip. Now we can add another clip. This section here houses all the clips that you can use. You can also use a little file, drag in the clips and drop them in. Here we're going to be using this clip. We're making cuts. If the cut's not accurate enough, we can still go along it. And make a tiny adjustments.
What? What the fuck?
As you can see, we can make tiny adjustments. We can also zoom in on the clip to make even more accurate cuts and more adjustments to the clip. Now we can drag this over and add this to the sequence we're currently creating. Now I want to add it right around before we cut to the main character of the film. So let's make a cut here. Spread that along. We'll make a cut. Now also we can cut using a single button. We can adjust, we can drag the visual and the audio clip. So I want to cut it, the clip, the visual of the clip here, but I want the audio to be a little longer. So now we've got the audio lined up. We can also add this move this over here. And adjust it here. And increase the length of the music. So here we got something like this.
Hit him! Unwind! What do you want, Tom?
What? AP, smash him.
You're clear, boy!
So here we go, we've made even more of a goofier clip with a reaction from someone else. Now currently editing my whole video. There are many advantages and some disadvantages for digital editing. Advantages are, it's very, very easy to make a film really quickly. As you can see what I've come up with here, the film for the talking about the editing software, I did that in about 10 minutes. I clipped, I cut clips, I cut some audio, and smashed them together. Are you fucking kidding me? Right, start again. So while I'm editing this, I might explain the advantages and disadvantages for digital editing. Here we have the clip that I've just recorded and put into the editing software. Now, I did that all in about 10 minutes. It's very easy to do, to cut, to splice together clips into a sequence to create a small film, or even a feature length at that. Many big companies use this sort of software because they can produce films quickly, and it's a lot easier than using the analog method. It's also great because you can add in visual effects from other software, you can add in color grading, subtitles, etc. You can add a lot of visuals to the clip. Well, actually, you can add a load of visuals to the film as much as you want to your own custom. You can add a lot of visual elements and effects to the film to your customization, like preferences. You can add any of the visual effects to your own personal preference. You can add all the you can add any of You can add any visual effects to your own personal preference, and you can make the film longer, shorter, and cuts unnecessary parts out of it, and you can make precise edits to avoid mistakes. Now, disadvantage to this is, as this is on a computer, it's really mostly computer based. Sometimes, if unlucky, this file can corrupt, and you can lose a lot of progress from the film, and have to come back to a certain point. Usually with these modern editing softwares, most of this has an autosave feature, so if that is the case, if the application happens to crash, then it can bring back to the last autosave file, and you can work from there instead of losing all of your progress. Another disadvantage is the file size of your film will probably be large, and if you don't have a large enough hard drive, then that's probably going to be a problem. But nonetheless, this, for the present and the future for filmmaking, editing softwares like Sony Vegas Pro or even Premiere Pro, independent filmmakers, big companies, Hollywood filmmakers, even most YouTubers and Facebook users and Twitter users that do editing of videos would use these sorts of programs.
Hit him! Unwind! What do you want, Tom?
What? AP, smash him.
You're clear, boy!